and they discontinued that particular compound. So because that step was missing, the laminate over the aluminum plate just became detached more easily. So
all right, so they messed up the formula and, well,
yeah,
not messed up, they changed the formula.
They changed the formula.
Okay.
It's like the new Coke, I guess.
And it was a bad idea.
bad idea.
Right.
So, and then the PA plates are have that dimensional texture. The numbers and letters are raised on the plate, so that allows for pockets of air between the laminate and the plate, and then salt water gets in there, starts the corrosion, and then the plates just peel off.
Can you, and I heard that you can technically get pulled over and get a ticket for this. I mean, obviously it's not my fault if my plate, disintegrated, but I can get written up.
I suppose that's possible if it's completely bare, and the police could do that. But generally, they would say, hey, you need to get a replacement plate.
Right.
So
they're going to be cool about it.
Yeah, I've seen that pretty much all the time. But I'm sure there are occasions where someone we get pulled over for that. But hey, let's not give them another reason to pull us over.
Exactly.
Let's just get that plate replaced, and there's no cost to it.
When's the event? Isn't it coming up today?
Today in my office in Chippewa. It's from 4 to 6 p.m. So right after school, right after work, if you get out early. We had about 100 people participate last year at this.
Really?
Yeah. And they just basically line up. The Chippewa police are there to help. We have the paperwork right there. You don't get the plate instantly, but it's then mailed to you, and the plate will be the same plate you have now in most cases.
All right, I'm taking a chance here. Jim Marshall's here in the studio with me, state representative. I'm hoping when I turn this up that it's Josh Kale, state representative. Please tell me this is Josh. Hi, Josh. I'm assuming it is. How are you? Where are you? I'm doing absolutely fine. How many license plates have you seen that are just shiny metal without any colors? Washington. Is that how you say that, right? No. As soon as you said that, Jim and I looked at each other and went, yeah, he got it right. It's Washington.
Washington.
I know you've got limited time with us because you're out running around, Josh, so I'll start with you on this question. How dysfunctional is PA right now because we don't have a budget? True.
That's going to set things back because now somebody else got to come in and start talking to the House and Senate, the Secretary of Legislative Affairs who does the negotiating for the budget, ended up getting yanked.
You said this happens every time there's a new administration. Why does it happen? What's the point that is trying to be made?
I think people are just posturing and they're trying to figure out where the pressure points are. They're trying to get in with new people. They're trying to understand different, tactics, what works, what doesn't work, trying something new, different agendas. Tom Wolf and Governor Shapiro are different, or they're the same parties, but they have different agendas as far as what they believe will bring the state forward. By the end of this administration, Tom Wolf was pretty much focused on education funding and not much else as far as the top priorities. And so every year we kind of understood what he was looking for. The first year, however, there was all kinds of tax increases, there was a big budget fight. So it's just, things change, different people, different needs, different desires for the state, and we're all figuring that out. It's one thing, unfortunately, in politics, you campaign on something, especially at that level, and then oftentimes you see the actual elected official or the governor in this case focus on the governor kind of not focused on what he campaigned on, focus on other things. So it's just getting used to that type of stuff and understanding what is actually the desire and then understanding what the legislative body wants, the direction they want to go. It takes some time.
Jim Marshall and Josh Kale are my guests, state representatives. We're wrapping with the reps. When the governor campaigns on something, and I'm talking about the school choice and the vouchers and all that, which is way over my head understanding wise, but when a governor campaigns on something and then at least seems to change his mind, does the legislature view that as a guy that's open-minded and willing to continue to gather information? Or does the legislature view that as a guy that said, okay, I said that to get in, now to heck with it?
Yeah, I think I don't know the whole legislature, but
Okay.
I think the guy that the profession agrees on. I mean, it's just like you're for something, and then it gets passed to the House and the Senate, and then you veto it, and then you claim it for. And it's the problem you have with politics. I think it's what why people are discussing this in politics. You're either for it or against it. You couldn't decide with it in there. You can tell the House that and have them strip it out and you start it over. You don't do this nonsense where you veto a campaign promise. That to me was a massive breach of the faith of government. But what you think on the issue, it's just you can't pull and expect people to trust you.
Is it an attention getter? Because what you just said, you're right. If you do something like that right out of the box, I'm not going to trust you, but I am going to notice you.
Yeah, I think it was I think there was more expectations. I can't figure that one out. I don't really understand, but it just did not make out well.
Jim, I want your thoughts on that, if I could.
Well, I'm not going to throw stones at the governor. I think in general he's done a good job. He's been very active from the get-go. He's everywhere. He's in Erie. He's in Scranton. He's been in Beaver County multiple times. I think he wants to do a great job. I think that it was a misstep or a mistake to get to that point where you have to veto an issue that's important to you and your campaign. I hope he can get through that, and I hope we can continue to work together. I'm just concerned that there's some division now between him and the Senate, and I think there's a little bit of distrust there. And, I have to think that the House Democrat leader is emboldened by that step, and, because it was his party that couldn't get that through in a House vote. And I agree with Josh. If you can't get it stripped out before you have to line item veto it.
AM 1230 WBVP and 99.3 FM. It's Teleforum. Today it's Rapping with the Reps. Jim Marshall is my guest here in person. Josh Kale. Where are you at? It sounds like you're in a diner.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Josh?
No, no, no.
Okay, I knew I heard the tone of a waitress somewhere in that. That's a, but that's how you find out what people want.
So where I see it, I'm in Bucks County, going here on crime and good.
Oh dear Lord.
You can actually watch it on Facebook. It's shared on Facebook.
Okay, well, what are your thoughts? And let's talk about Philly, but let's talk about Pittsburgh. Crime in general in the Commonwealth. Are we going in the right direction, or are we not going in the right direction?
I think we have seen an uptick in cities and other areas, and other rural areas, especially. Some of it, I think, is due to COVID policies and all that stuff kind of catching up to us, numbers catching up to us. But I think there's also a lot happening that when you have DAs in particular in Philadelphia, and what's concerning is that Pittsburgh's not potentially like one as well, where they don't believe actions have consequences. I'm very concerned about the world my children are growing up in, because I see this everywhere, see it everywhere, where people think life is like Nintendo, where you can just press the reset button and everything goes back to normal. And that's not the case. And I'm concerned that we're teaching kids that, and then they get to the real world, and then reality is how mental health breaks. It's not the world we live in actually do have consequences. And people that live in cities now, and many of them across the country, are suffering of those consequences. My district attorneys who are out there refusing to apply the law. So it's a common trend. It's absolutely horrendous in Philadelphia. They have a district attorney who's publicly come out and told everybody that they are not going to enforce certain laws. Publicly come out and said gun laws are racist. Every time that there is a gun crime in Philadelphia, he comes out and says, yes, there's something happening with guns. The guy is not serious, but what is serious is a lot of people because of his inaction. And it's something that we as a legislature are going to need to figure out how to react.
As a legislature, if you've got a district attorney in your Commonwealth that is actively saying, I'm not going to enforce those laws, what can you do as legislators? Because that seems insane.
This is why last year I led the charge to impeach we did. We impeached him in the House. It's still caught up in litigation. But we had enough. I understand that we're extraordinary measure. So I'm not one to take lightly. It's not like DC where it's impeachment happy. This guy, you have a constitutional duty to enforce the law. That is your very function as a district attorney. That's your job. You are the executive branch. You enforce the rule of law. And he was refusing to do it. It's not like it was one or two things here. There are actual letters and things that went out, public statements where he said he's not going to do it. And I'm sorry, but you can't just cherry pick stuff that the legislature passes. The legislature passes it. Your job is to enforce it. That's how our system works. If you don't want to do it like that, my opinion is horrible. And that's what we're trying to do. But we're working on other things too, as far as how we can make sure that there's things that are going on that matter. So, from a standpoint of accountability.
Josh Kale and Jim Marshall are my guests. We're wrapping with the reps. We will continue to do that after news on Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 1230 WPDP Beaver Falls and 1460 WPA Cambridge. Broadcasting from the St. Martin studio. Join Beaver County Radio and the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company for a ghoulish good time on Saturday, October the 21st, for a trunk-or-treat car cruise from noon to 4 p.m. at the Beaver
Oh, he
County
hung
Radio
up.
Studios.
I guess he's done.
Sounds
I was about to pick up the line and say, do you want to do more? Because I wasn't sure how long he would be. I focused on him. Well, apparently him hanging up is the answer to my question.
I'll text him.
No, he can, now that's, if he's busy, that's fine. I was worried he was gonna do that, or only be able to do half.
Adults are also encouraged to dress up.
That's why I spend all the time with him.
Trunk
Where'd
or
Curtis
Treat
go?
is being
Did
presented
Curtis not
by
just come in here?
Auto, Monroe Auto
The door opened and
Did
closed.
Curtis just not come in here?
Yeah, he came in, I guess he grabbed something.
along with the Pennsylvania
Oh, okay. It's like, dude, I know I saw Curtis come in, even on my blind side.
Monte Cristo sandwich today?
Yes.
Matt's buying.
Yeah. Oh, Matt's. Okay. Dude, I haven't had a turn in like 4 sandwiches. I'm living the dream.
Well, they'll be up there.
Is the news in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done.
5.6. 5, 10, 12. We are about to have several come to Jesus meetings.
Here.
Yo, yeah. 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 I have zero tolerance for half-ass. If you do it and you do it wrong, people are idiots. We all do things wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this
Shouldn't be a problem.
is brand new. Everything's,
Well, you have people unplugging shit and plugging it back in wrong, and I've never been anywhere where if somebody unplugged shit that they weren't in charge of, they didn't get snatched up. Because, well, I come in, it's like, okay, well, none of that works.
Worry about getting better. Worry about
And now,
the medical side of things.
I gotta actually start an interview. I can't do both. And all that was required was whoever used this shit and took it with them last time, put it back the way it was. That's all that's required. And I apologize for throwing the headphones. I was either gonna throw a headphone or punch a hole in a wall.
throwing the headphones is probably a better idea.
This is
Yeah.
where things are going
It's
to go. You just worry about
zero tolerance for knowing what the job is, and just, and there's a lot of that, and
or online at lgkg.com. Luxembourg, Garden, Kelly, and George, keeping promises for over 80 years.
and the problem is,
Radio's news source. 95.7
the problem is we have the new radio
along with 1230
music station, and everybody's all excited about that, and nobody's doing their actual job. And that station's a 75-watt station that you can't hear in the fucking parking lot. This station actually gets listened to. Priorities.
75 watts.
Huh? 75 watts.
Wow.
Yeah. I can hear it in Amber, it's great. The antenna's in Amber. But you leave here, you can hear for about 5 minutes, then all the way down 76, it goes away. And then when I turn left, like to go through Moon, that way to Ambridge, it picks up again. I mean, people are listening on the app, which is really good. A whole lot of shit that it should be happening here that isn't happening because everybody's getting to play Professor DJ over there. And people have been spoken to repeatedly about it, and it's just, I've been fired from way better jobs than this. I've done this 30 years, I know how to do it. Do your job. You not doing your job, you not taking 2 minutes to, oh, I'll plug this shit back in. That caused all that shit. It's like, okay, I got 4 minutes to make this work, and it doesn't work, and now I got it, and one little fuck off can literally cascade and screw 8 or 10 people on down the road. And it's, if it was difficult, that'd be one thing. This isn't difficult shit. This is double checking and knowing, yeah, everything's fine. Yes, this is done. These commercials are in. Just simple. Every day there'll be 4 or 5 commercials scheduled that aren't in there. And I'll take a picture and send it to Curtis because he's the production director. Say, hey, this isn't in here. 5 minutes later, somebody scurries and records it. And it's like, do it when you get the work assigned to you. Why? I'm glad you got to come in and see me in my true form. I got zero tolerance for half-ass. If you try hard and you suck, that's fine. But there are a million jobs where you can do half-ass and not give a shit and go to work every day and sit in a cubicle and there's no effect on anyone else around you. Media is not one of those jobs. One person doing one thing half-assed turns into a shit show on down the road. And it would be different if this hadn't been explained repeatedly. Frank's told people. Like the fucking idiot last night, the guy hosting the coaches show. Have you met Mike Azadian? Keep it like that. He's the guy that does the coaches show on the sideline report. He's been told 3 different times, you don't eat when you're on camera. The fact that you would have to be told that is demented. He's been told 3 different times last night, on camera during an interview, eating. It's like, what the fuck is that? I worked at places that you'd have been fired literally before you left the venue. You'd have gotten a phone call and say, dude, what are you, stupid? You're done. And it's just...
Why doesn't he get it?
Because he's, can I use a bad word? Because he's a fucktard. Because he is so utterly self-absorbed. And he's a sideline reporter. The last game he did, he came up to the press box at halftime and said, well, you guys aren't coming to me enough, so I'm just going to hang out up here. I was like, dude, you've gone right now. He's delusional, among other things. But yeah, Frank showed me, hey, you see the video? They're trying to swallow real quick. Come back and say, how many times have you told him not to do that? 3. Dude, that shit's on you now. I mean, I've seen dudes, I've been places where not only would they be fired, they might get their ass kicked because that's disrespectful to the craft. And like I said, there's a million jobs where you cannot give a shit. This ain't one of them. See, then I made you feel like a legislator. I just unloaded all of my shit on you, and there's nothing you can do about it, but you still have to sit there. Oh, shit.
That's what we do.
I'm coming back and we're talking. Past that, no clue, and the headphones don't work. It is rapping with the reps. Josh Gale, nice enough to, wasn't sure if Josh was even going to be able to be involved at all. We knew he was on the road. Josh Gale called and shared his thoughts. Jim Marshall is here in the studio. How dysfunctional is it? I will ask you what I asked Josh. How dysfunctional right now is Harrisburg compared to previous administration changes that you've been around? Is it worse?
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit worse. I mean, it's not an angry mob kind of situation, but...
would that get it fixed better, quicker?
No.
Because I'll round some people up.
I bet. That's never really the solution. We just need to find a way to work together, find a spot in the middle we can agree on. When the Senate passes legislation over to us, especially with the budget, you know, often I think we can get it passed without amendment. We work it out with the Senate before it comes to us. And now, like Josh had mentioned, the majority in the House is loading up Senate bills, and then...
He used a term I do want to ask you about, wish list.
Yeah.
What is a wish list thing that would get added into a bill?
Oh, I don't know, like if you wanted a new municipal building in one of your municipalities, or you know, you want to spend money on a project, or you want to spend money for services. It's, you name it. I mean, you could say a Christmas list or a wish list.
Is that what used to be called pork? You're like pork in the bill, you sneak your own stuff in?
Yeah, that still happens in the federal budget, but typically we've gotten away from that in the House over the years. But yeah, they've been loading things in that then aren't going anywhere. I mean, you could send it back to the Senate, but you know, if you can't get an agreement, you're not going to get it done.
Do they know when they do that it's not going anywhere? Or are they just giving it a shot, throwing something against the wall, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's a shot against the wall, maybe. I think that they just need to sit down together and function. That's what governing is.
How difficult is it to remove egos? when you're talking about powerful people. If you're a state legislator, you have power in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And if you've been there 1,000 years.
There's a lot of great members there, I'll say
Okay.
that.
All right.
And some I don't know, and I can't really say if it's ego that's driving it or what the problem is. You know, the leadership on the Democrat side, they need to appease their members to get reelected into leadership. So sometimes it's maybe not ego driven, but it's driven because
Professional necessity.
yeah, I guess you'd say that.
Is there ever been anybody that said, I'm not going to do this to get votes for next time, I'm going to do this to help and do a good job now?
I don't know.
Is it possible to do that?
I don't know that if it's possible in leadership. I suppose so. You know, I think if you have somebody in leadership that knows they're not coming back and it's like, listen,
Short timer's disease?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're just going to do this and we're going to get it done. We're going to function regardless of what the masses say and just do it.
Was that Governor Wolf at the end?
No, I don't think so. I think he struggled the entire time. I think that Governor Shapiro has done really well at working together and building a team. You know, yeah, he's had some missteps for sure, but I think that he can work with the Senate. He can work with the House. He's a former House member.
Is the Senate and the House at this point capable of working with each other? Because that's the first step before it gets to the governor, correct?
It is. I mean, you know, Elder talked to me today. He and I talk all the time. If we were running the show, it would probably have been done in May or June. But I can't imagine how difficult it would be to be a leader in the Senate. You know, you have to appease your members. You have to get legislation drafted and through, and then you have to work with a different political party in the House. It's got to be frustrating.
Okay, you're being very, very polite, but at the beginning you said, through your example, you and Elder Vogel Jr., it is possible to function.
It is. And
Why is it possible for you and he to function, but is it just more people, more personalities?
yeah, that's probably it. I mean,
Okay.
Rob Matzey and I co-chair the same committee. We last time we were in session, we had 5 or 6 bills with amendments. There were no negative votes. We passed. The meeting was done in under 20 minutes. We can function. I just don't know why other people can't do that. It's not difficult. You just have to find a way to work together.
Do you believe there are people that have no interest in bipartisan functioning?
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah?
We call them bomb throwers. There's
Is that the term for it?
yeah, I think so.
And
Just
it's-
if you want to blow things up, make them not happen.
I'm-
You want dysfunction, you want anarchy. That there's people that do that for sure.
I'm not going to ask you to name names, but can you ballpark percentage? 1 out of every 10 legislators, what'd you call them, a bomb thrower?
Bomb thrower.
Is it 1 out of 10? Is it more? Is it less, you think?
I'd say 1 out of 10. It might be more than that.
Okay. How do you deal with that when you know that person's motivation is to cause problems or not help create solutions? How do you deal with that? Can you put them out of a loop, or does it make any difference if they are?
Well, I think you keep trying and you hope they just go away, and typically they do. But once it gets to the point where you just can't function anymore, I think you're going to lose people that are grounded and in the middle and there to govern, there to do the job. I think you're just going to lose talent because there's just too many bomb throwers.
Has that ever crossed your mind? To say, I'm beating my head against the wall here. This is an example of diminishing returns as representing the 14th district.
Yeah, that's crossed my mind
Has it?
a number of times.
What do you think, what keeps you from saying to heck with it, I'm not gonna run for election next time? What keeps you saying, I believe in the process even with all of this?
I think part of it is that we're just really placeholders. We're not designed to be there or for a lifetime. We're just trying to make it better than when we got there. and that we hope that the next person in that spot is, the $6 million person, better, smarter,
Stronger, faster.
faster. Yeah, you kind of hope that. I think it's kind of like you want your kids to be better off than what you were, or in my case, your grandkids. So you're always thinking there's, it's not my legislative district, it's the 14th, and I'm there right now. I'm not going to be there forever. I want to do the best I can. If it gets to the point where I just feel like I can't handle the division and the problems there, then that would be it. And there's 3 ways to leave, Eddie. I mean,
Okay.
you either get voted out, or you get carried out, or you make your own decision and leave without either of those happening.
All right. I don't want to paint a negative scenario, but I am curious about something. Jim Marshall is my guest, State Representative, 14th District. Let's say, devil's advocate, it finally gets to the point where it's not 1 out of 10 bomb throwers, it's 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. You wake up one morning and you say, yeah, I can't do this anymore. What would you go do?
I don't know.
What prepares you, or what happens in Harrisburg would be preparation for what job?
Any job, really. I mean, I would do something. I mean, you get to meet so many people, you get to do so many things.
Right.
I've flown with the refuelers at the 171st. Yesterday I was under the bridge, under the Turnpike Bridge that they're rebuilding down there, and you get to meet people from every walk of life, from all over the state, and it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, I'm blessed to have that, have had this time to serve, and you do get to meet a lot of people, and I would say that when I make that decision, I'm going to do something else. I just not entirely sure what yet, but there are a lot of opportunities.
Is your faith in the Pennsylvania governance system larger or smaller than it was when you started?
I firmly respect the institution. It's not that's at fault. I just think that some of the people in government need to fix it, to work it out, to work together, and not to be there for selfish reasons, to be there for a purpose.
You're talking about people that are there 20, 30, 40 years.
Or-
Is that selfish, or is that
No, I don't
truly
mean-
dedicated?
That could be truly dedicated. I'm not saying that time makes them selfish, because they all face re-election. When people say there should be term limits, well,
There
with the
are.
House, it's every 2 years we have a term limit.
Mhm.
I don't think that's selfish. I think it's selfish that if you're there for your own benefit and not to benefit the people you're serving. I think that's selfish.
How often does it happen that somebody comes in naive, or not naive, but enthusiastic and youthful exuberance, and the system grinds them down and turns them into, they care about themselves?
I haven't seen someone turn like that. I think someone's like that when they get there.
They show up like
They
that?
show up like that.
Yeah?
I've seen people get frustrated. I've seen members come in and one year, half of their first term, they said, this is it. And they do one term and not running it. I've seen that.
What makes them flip that switch? Just the dysfunction or the selfishness? Because it takes a lot to win an election. Not just money, time, effort. You get to the gig and you're halfway through your first term and you're saying, nah, I'm out. What causes them to say, I'm out?
Well, in the election process, you're kind of in charge of that yourself, and you're pretty motivated. If you really want to run, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. And then when you get there, I've heard people say, I wasn't in the Army, but a lot of people say there's a lot of downtime when you're in the Army, and it's the same when in the legislature. You're on a hyper pace to get elected, and then there's
And
some
then it
downtime.
slows down.
It slows down, and people are like, why can't I should be able to fix this myself. Well, there's 102 of us. I mean, that's the math. You need to get the majority, and you need to have the votes, and then you need you know, it's a deliberative process on purpose, and I think especially in the Senate. There's a lot of time to process, and people are, they want instant results. I think though you said that exuberant, you know, that puppy
Enthusiasm.
you need that puppy enthusiasm, but then you still need the old dog that says, I love your enthusiasm, but this is not a sprint.
Dial it back a little
Back
bit.
a little bit. And then, you know, you can help mentor somebody into something where they can be very good at it. You know, we're all a mile wide and an inch deep. You have to know a little bit about everything. But there are some that specialize, and you know, it's fun working with members that want to do the right thing, and there's still a lot there on both sides. But it's the ones that are there to cause problems. It gets frustrating.
There are people that actually get voted in just to come in and be a stick in the mud.
Oh yeah. It's easy to be a no vote too. I mean, there are people, I've seen people that come in and they're no on the budget every year, just no. It's eventually, that's the easy way out. You have to.
You talk about term limits. How do those people get elected? Do they get reelected?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
There's some that get reelected by greater numbers. I can't explain it.
By being a pain in the neck, it actually increases their popularity.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, with social media now, a lot of it's about likes, and you know, I've seen. So the Democrat House is struggling a little bit with getting legislation passed.
It's a very polite term.
And there's been less session days this year, that I would say, compared to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And there are Republican House members that are using that on their campaigns. You know, let's get rid of these guys, and I'm here to have action, and send me more money. You know, send me money, and I can do this. And people will send them money and say, yeah, go after them. Well, how about if we just figure it out and find a compromise and govern? I guess that's maybe just not as sexy as blowing stuff up, but
No,
you know, it's politics, Eddie. It's no different than 100 years ago. It's just.
Well, no, I disagree. It is different. It's the same thing, and you would know that far better than me. But 100 years ago, we didn't have social media, and we didn't have posts, and we didn't have those likes that are viewed as very important to some people.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think campaigns were caustic, and there were some untruths in, you know, campaigns 100 years ago, but it's voracious now with social media.
Give me one, if you could have one characteristic, personality trait that would benefit being a legislator, what would that one characteristic be?
Well, I mean, I always say, first off, you have to be authentic. You have to be who you say you are. That's important. But I guess patience. Sometimes I lose my patience. I don't think you've ever seen that, but
No, I want to see that.
yeah, it's different.
See, are you a screamer? Are you a thrower? You flipping over tables? You sit quietly and stew? Because everybody has a different flip out method. I would very much enjoy watching you flip out, because I've never been around you where you weren't just
Yeah.
calm, rational.
This is my happy face. This
Sure.
is my angry face.
I bring it out in people.
Poker face.
How do you flip out?
Like if I look at you over my glasses, then you know it might be coming. You might have disappointed me. I've never given you that look though, Eddie, because you know you've never.
Wait.
But
That's what a librarian would
Yeah.
do if you were talking too loud. That's your flipping out. You look over your glasses.
Yeah, that's the start of it, and then sometimes things I'll just start yelling.
Do
I'm
ya?
I'm not much of a screamer. You'll.
I've never heard you raise your voice.
Yeah, I've done it.
Have you?
Yeah, it's little things.
It's none of my business. I'm going to ask anyway, because we got about 2 minutes left. The last time you raised your voice, don't throw anybody under the bus. What was it about?
Oh, it was It was really my grandkids were popping wheelies. They were popping wheelies on the Power Wheels, you know? Can
Yeah.
you imagine that? They
What-
were, I was like, calm down,
Okay,
somebody's
but
gonna get
that's,
hurt.
nah, that's not an angry yell. That is a concern for safety.
Yeah, it's concern for safety.
That's different. When's the last angry yell? What was that about? Josh Cale popping wheelies on his Power Wheels?
No, it's hard to get mad at Josh. He's like.
It's true. Yeah,
little
it is
kid.
true.
That's a great question. Yeah, I haven't really yelled angry. It's usually yelling for safety. That's it. I can't remember the last time I yelled angrily.
Well, day ain't over and you ain't out the room yet. We'll get something
Yeah,
going.
it's early yet.
Yeah, it's way early. What should I have asked you that I didn't ask you? We covered a lot of ground, and I very much appreciate it. I very much appreciate Josh was on the other side of the state. He called in for the first half of this, but what should I have asked you that you wanted to let people know that I didn't bring up?
Well, we did cover a lot. I guess the event today, we talked about the
license plate
event. And I had said we had a lot of people participate last year. I did have one negative email about that this year, that they don't want me to have that stupid license plate event. But
Why?
I don't know. Some people just
What?
don't understand that it benefits people, and that's the only reason we do it. Is let's get fresh plates on it.
I so couldn't do
But-
your job.
You know, we get yelled at for everything. I mean, every vote we make, there's people for it, against it. You know, it's,
Well, that I understand, but
yeah.
Jim, you're talking about helping people drive more correctly. You're talking about doing something that a Commonwealth should do. I can't think of one reason why somebody would have a problem with that.
because it's easy to do. Because it's easy to,
But, it's easy to have a problem.
it's easy to have a problem and then to vent on the keyboard or vent on social media.
Keyboard muscles.
Yeah.
I
How about
would,
that?
this is why I couldn't do your job. My response would have been something along the lines of, well, then you pick an event for me to help people and let me know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that could be.
How often do you bite your tongue metaphorically before you go on a keyboard?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day.
So I never knew I had anything in common with the state representative. I appreciate that.
You could do it, Eddie.
Do what, be a state rep?
Yeah, you could.
Have you met me?
Yeah,
What-
I mean,
what,
I know
what
you.
would I bring to this? We may go into the next hour. You may have just screwed up and hung up your lunch. What could I possibly do to be a good legislator, an efficient legislator? We've been around each other a little bit. I have no problem going from zero to stuff hitting a wall.
Yeah,
That's not a good thing, is it? Well,
Well-
if I want to get the goobers to vote for me, maybe.
Yeah, well, I just think that you have a lot of energy, and
That is such, okay, that's so
you know,
polite.
you do, and you're educated. You have opinions on every issue. I think you're an excellent communicator.
Mm-hmm.
You got talent, Eddie.
But what do you mean I got talent? You're creeping me out now at the end of this. Why'd you get all weird at the end of this?
I'm just saying.
We were okay earlier. We were talking about license plates. Now it's getting
Just
deeply
saying.
personal.
You're good at your job, bud.
I feel like you would have been a great guidance counselor if that whole state rep thing wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, who knows?
All right. Give me a slogan in case I decide to run.
I don't know.
Willing to throw things at a moment's notice.
That could get you elected. See, it depends on the district.
Well, what's the old line? I wouldn't want to be a part of any club that would have me as a member.
Oh yeah.
Okay? If throwing things gets me elected, I don't need to be elected, and the people that got me elected don't need to be voting.
I hear you, bud.
Jim Marshall, you're the best, man. Now I'm thinking about a political career.
It's,
This radio thing don't work out.
yeah, well, you could do both.
I love pancake breakfasts.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
Jim Marshall, state rep. It's rapping with the reps. I got to come up with a campaign slogan now. Otherwise, what, you got one?
Yeah, I'll see you next month. We'll have it all ready for
All
you.
right. Need yard signs with a
Yeah.
picture of a bird on
A
them.
crow, yeah.
A crow. Well, look at me. Would you
It's-
rather see my face on a big piece of cardboard, or would you rather see a picture of a delightful bird?
The delightful bird, because it's your logo.
That's it.
It's your Krogo.
Jim, oh my God. Look for an
That's all you
announcement
need.
coming soon.
There you go.
Oh my God. That was so